Good evening. Welcome to the Government News Brief. The headlines: what to do if you have conjunctivitis, commonly known as red eye. In education, more counselors for schools and more emphasis to be placed on efficiency. And we get an update on the Ministry of Business's 5-year strategic plan. There is an increase in the cases of red eye or conjunctivitis. We welcome Zanil Williams to our team. She tells us how we can avoid getting this contagious disease.
In the last week alone, the Camberville Health Centre has seen a dramatic increase in cases of conjunctivitis, better known as red eye, compared to the entire month of May. From June 12th to June 16th, the health centre recorded 179 cases of red eye compared to 24 cases recorded in May 2017. Dr. Angelique Parkinson of the Camberville Health Centre explains the symptoms of red eye.
So the white area, the sclera, looks pink or red. A person who is infected can also have pain in the eye, itching in the eye, excessive tearing, or sensitivity to light.
Dr. Parkinson notes that anyone experiencing these signs and symptoms should visit the nearest health centre in their community.
For this type of condition, it is best to seek care at the health centre closest to you rather than appearing at the emergency department of the Georgetown Public Hospital.
Dr. Parkinson says it is important for persons with red eye not to touch their infected eyes and touch things since the virus will spread.
Red eye is usually a self-limiting condition, which means that within a week, a person will recover from the symptoms.
And what do you do if you have red eye? It is recommended that you apply a cold pack to the affected eye 2 to 3 times daily for 10 to 15 minutes or use anti-inflammatory drugs as prescribed by your local medical practitioner. Zanil Williams reporting for the Government News Brief.
Only those deemed responsible have been cited in the government audits, and investigations are currently on the way. The independent audits are not intended to go after former government ministers, says Minister within the Ministry of Finance, Jaipal Sharma. The officials will come under scrutiny, he says, because they had oversight of agencies under the various ministries.
In the case of the Prado-ville, where cabinet decision was taken, it could possibly implicate everybody at cabinet who was sitting that make that decision, that basically give themselves the land at a very low cost.
The initial plans were modified, Minister Sharma explains, after cabinet learned of plans by NISL's chairman, Wilson Brasington, to develop the location for high-income house lots.
When they heard that, they reverted to house lots and subsidized it as how house lots, the claim is subsidized. But it's two different things. That's a seaside property, as you giving people cane field property. We in the in areas that is not habitable, and it was not properly prepared.
This is in contrast to what they were offering Guyanese citizens, without the lands being prepared with drainage, roads, water, electricity, and other basic infrastructure. Several audits and investigations have been completed, and some have been handed over to the Guyana Police Force, where cases of malfeasance are evident. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief. Now, Sanika Thorne tells us that the Ministry of Business's 5-year strategic plan is on track.
Minister of Business Dominique Gaskin says the ministry's strategic plan is proceeding according to schedule.
We have just completed hiring a consultant to actually oversee the rollout of the strategic plan, because we are realistic enough to realize that plans don't just implement themselves, they need to be driven, and we felt that we wanted to hire somebody to give it some dedicated attention, ensuring that everybody met their deadlines and the targets.
In October 2016, the ministry launched the Business Strategic Plan 2016 to 2020 under the theme Guyana Means Business. The plan aim is to make conducting business easy. It seeks to enhance competitiveness, capacities to produce and promote export, and more value-added products and services in Guyana. Some of the initiatives include improving access to public and private markets and programs for small and micro business. Design and implement a national value-added export strategy through collaboration with public and private sector, among others. For the Government News Brief, Sinika Thorne.
Thank you, Sinika. The Ministry of Education's top official is aiming for better efficiency. Gabriela Patram has the details.
Minister of Education, Acting Nicolette Henry, says there will be no change in the delivery of the ministry's program for the remainder of the year. However, there is a need to be more efficient in terms of meeting deadlines.
I was in the ministry before, so of course I would have contributed in a large way to that plan. And so I'm certain that the plan that we have in place is one that is relevant and applicable in terms of where we want to go. What will happen, however, is the need to be more efficient in terms of meeting our timelines, in terms of ensuring that we are programmatically organized to deliver in the time specified.
Minister Henry notes that Minister Rupnarayan's transfer to the Public Service Ministry is more of a win-win situation, taking into consideration his skills and expertise.
It's kind of a win-win. It's really strengthening the public service more than anything else, and also ensuring that whatever Minister Rupnarayan would have started in education, and of course under his mentorship, I would have been familiar with what he would have started and to continue on that track.
At the post-cabinet briefing last Thursday, Minister of State Joseph Harmon announced that Minister Rupnarayan has been reassigned to the Public Service Ministry effective June 15th, after a cabinet decision by President David Granger. Minister Rupnarayan remains a member of both Cabinet and the National Assembly. For the Government News Brief, Gabriela Patram.
Gabriela joins us once again to tell us about the Education Ministry's plan to address behavioral issues in schools.
The increased rate of psychosocial issues in schools has seen the Ministry of Education moving to hire counselors and establishing counseling rooms to address these issues, says Chief Education Officer Marcel Hudson.
The Ministry of Education would have engaged in hiring school counselors, engage in building what we call counsel rooms, and we plan to move out. What we have done so far in terms of the counseling rooms would have been centered in the city. Not to say that we don't have those issues in the hinterland and so on, but we are moving out.
There are currently 10 counseling rooms in schools around Georgetown where counselors work on a daily basis. The students, based on behavior patterns, are referred for counseling to address the issues and effect behavioral change, Hudson explains.
We have lots of children out there with lots of issues, issues that, ultimately will affect their school life and so on. Sometimes children just need someone to talk to, someone to give them the kind of guidance that they need in terms of how they deal with life issues.
The Ministry of Education is heightening its efforts to ensure that there are adequate number of counselors stationed at schools across the country. Gabriela Patram for the Government News Brief. Daddy!
And many of you would have had your umbrellas out today as a result of the heavy rainfall. All regions except 9 are currently experiencing inclement weather. Persons living in coastal low-lying areas and riverine areas are being asked to take the necessary precautions against possible flooding. This weather pattern is expected to last for the next 12 hours at least. Advisories are in effect for rough seas in open water. High tide at the Damara Bar is 12 minutes past midnight at a height of just under 3 meters. Low tide is around 6:30 in the morning. The next period of above normal tides begins on Tuesday, June 20th.
Daddy!
Thanks for watching. Visit gina.gov.gy for more news and information 24/7. We're also on Facebook and YouTube, and the links are on screen. Do remember to join us on Tuesday. Goodbye now.
Daddy!